Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
Do you have doubts about the decisions you make? Are they enough to keep you awake at night, just adding to the usual stress and strain of running a business? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Keeping doubts at bay is one thing, but when doubts lead to inaction, it's time to drive them out. And that's where coach and keynote speaker Terry Barridge offers advice. He talks about such things to business audiences regularly. So Heather Dawson asks, does everyone have doubts about the decisions they make in business?
I'd like to say no, because I'd like to be one of those that doesn't have any doubts whatsoever. But I think we do. There's always this what if, isn't there, that's in the back of our mind. We go to do something and it's what if. Now, it's not when we get up in the morning and put our undies on and get dressed and go to the shower, because we've really programmed ourselves how to do that. And we don't even think of any consequence there. But anything that's a little bit new, a little bit outside of our comfort zone, and all of a sudden the what-ifs come and the doubts come along. So, yeah, we do.
But for those in leadership positions, Terry, should we assume that they have greater levels of confidence? Otherwise they wouldn't be where they are?
Oh, that's a long, long topic to answer that question.
Is it?
Some of the companies I've been into, you couldn't really say that 100%. But I think that's certainly what the expectation is, yeah. And certainly that level of confidence would help. But think of it this way, that it's a level of confidence in what they know that they're good at. It's the same as going and getting up in the morning and going home for your shower, cleaning your teeth. It's something you've done so many times, you can almost automatically do it. And so that's where their level of confidence is great. But take them out of their comfort zone and they can really fall apart. It's a little bit about the character of the individuals and their comfort zone, where they're prepared to step outside their comfort zone.
Because if people are too doubtful, become too doubtful about the decisions that they're making, that's the sort of thing that keeps them up at night and can cause a lot of stress.
Yeah, and it's both up at night and the stress affects their performance the next day. My wife doesn't like me because I put my head on the pillow and I go to sleep. And I sleep soundly all night. Now, I say I'm blessed, but maybe it's because, I deal with the things as they come along, and then I don't have that stress and worry to disturb my night's sleep, and I wake up fresh.
Well, you're a lucky man.
I am a lucky man, yeah.
So if you do have doubts, how do you drive them out? Is that something you can do, or do you look to others to help you?
I think at the end of the day, the individual needs to do it themselves. They may need guidance, certainly, and coaching and some training, but at the end of the day, they end up having to do it themselves. And most of it, again, it comes back to that communication, but it's more the communication with yourself than anything else. And if others around you are negative and start to plant doubts in your mind, say, oh, you can't do that, then again, it comes back to your communication with yourself. You've immediately got to sort of shirt front them or their saying more than anything else and say, and who are you to tell me I can't do this? I know I can do this. There might be a little bit of overconfidence in that sort of statement, but I think you need that to counteract that negative. And you need to have the positive talk within yourself at all times and know, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this.
Wouldn't be easy for people who've had a lifetime of worrying about things.
Absolutely. And for some people, it's quite a big journey, particularly if they've been in a situation where, they suffer from things like depression, because immediately all these what-ifs just keep bombarding them within their own mind. And it really takes a concerted effort and quite a considerable amount of discipline to be able to train yourself otherwise.
And make sure that the doubts don't then start to creep back over time.
Yeah. It's certainly a never-ending job.
Well, isn't a small amount of doubt a good thing, because it'll make us question the actions we take?
If you can look at it logically and say, well, why? What's going to happen if it fails? What's going to happen if I make a mistake? And if it's not drastic, then why not have a go? Because the other side of the coin is, what happens if it is brilliantly successful? It's so imperative that you're prepared to have a go and allow yourself to make a mistake so that you can either eliminate that doubt or find out that it was fairly real and, go with a reasonable amount of caution. and just use that caution or that native fear that we've got inside us, the fight or flight. But don't let the other fear, the one that's trying to control your mind, get in the way. In other words, don't step in front of a bus. You're going to get damaged. But if it's a simple little thing at work or at home or at play, then have a go.
Now, if you were selecting an executive team, Terry, you'd presumably want decisive rather than doubting personalities on that team, wouldn't you? So what should you look out for at a hiring level?
Look, that's when you start to do your personality analysis and things like that, I think, and look at people, because I don't think you want all decisive people. I think you want some people that are going to analyse it. So an analytical sort of person is going to analyse it and come up with some facts for and some facts against. And so you need that person there because they're going to create a little bit of doubt in the minds of others. You need somebody that's maybe a salesman sort of person where everything's positive. Yeah, let's go in. Oh, no, we got to don't worry about that. Just do this, 20% is good enough. We don't worry about the 80%. You guys sort that out later on. So they're gung-ho. So that's a different personality type again. But I think you really need a blend because teams are important, having great teamwork and having good culture within that team, setting up a framework so that one's balancing out the other, but you're getting a clear perspective so that at the end of the day, the whole team can sit down and say, okay, that's a good balance between gung-ho and analytical. So we need to really be able to sort that out and get a balanced opinion before we can move forward. And that's the beauty of teams, I think, because you do get that influence of different people's thoughts, patterns and different perspectives and different diversity coming in. And in Australia, we're fantastically lucky to have so many different people in Australia from all over the world. And I think it's an amazing place here.
Well, from the boss's point of view, then, final question, it comes down to a healthy perspective for that person.
Yeah. It certainly does. I think that healthy perspective is going to lead you where you want to go. And that healthy perspective comes from listening to your doubt a little bit, but not listening to it a lot. Understanding that we need to take action in business and in life to be able to make things happen. And life would be boring if we sat back and listened to our doubts all the time and did nothing. We'd all become very, very stagnant. So we need to listen, say, yeah, okay, there's some caution there. But, my logic says that even if we go against the doubt and take action, it might cost us a little bit of money. It might cost us a little bit of time. It might even create an argument at home with your better half for a little while. But just think about the benefits that you could have. You could make up with your partner. You could make good money out of doing that. You could help create a better team within your workplace by taking that little bit of a risk, just a calculated risk that's going to make you step forward, move forward, and continue to keep up with the systems that are around us and in place, and your competition in particular. It's so important to keep up and keep ahead of your competition.
That was Speechmaster Academy communications coach Terry Barridge. Business Essentials Daily is a SoundCartel podcast. Executive producer is Heather Dawson. Producers are Nick Schilberger, Chris Ashmore, and myself. Technical production by Pete Letts and Belinda Trimboli. I'm Nicole Goodman. Thanks for listening. We'll bring you more Be Daily next week. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.